Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name is James and this is Killingit Country. You're here probably because the title of this video said Kubota BX25D tractor loader backhoe 5-year 500-hour owner's review, something to that sort. It is going to be a bit of an all-encompassing video today. It's a beautiful day. The birds are chirping, the sun is shining, the ground is drying up. It's a Saturday, so nobody's homeschooling the kids, so we're all allowed to be outside all day, which is fantastic. So I've got a few pieces of equipment down here with me. If you haven't been paying attention to the channel, I'm working on putting a road in on the property here. So you can see it's all cleared out there in that direction to the north. It's all cleared out there in that direction to the south. I've done all that work myself with my Stihl MS261, I believe, is what I have there. I had cut most of the trees out in the winter, so I had a little bit of these stumps left over, so I cut the stumps off. I got them loaded up in the trailer here. My last video was a quick and dirty refurbishment of the mower deck on my John Deere LA140. 2007 this was produced, so at the time this machine is 14 years old, so I can link to that video as well. I cut the stumps off right down to the grass level, as close as I could get to the ground without burying that chainsaw in the dirt, and afterwards I just went through with the mower at the highest level and trimmed off all of the little saplings and stuff that were left over, and it worked fantastic. So what I'm going to do next is probably talk about this machine here. This is why you came. Gonna get the drone up in the air, and we'll do some footage of me maybe tackling this stump. I'm not gonna dig the stump out with the backhoe, but you're here to see the BX, so I'll use the BX to maybe dig out that anthill, clear away some of the dirt down to the ground level so that I can then cut the stump off with the chainsaw. And there's another anthill up there that maybe we can play with too, and I can talk about it while we're doing it, or before and after. But anyway, let's get into it. So I purchased this Kubota when? I think it showed up, the tractor, end of 2016, and the snowblower, which is a BX2755 HD, and I have a ton of content on that. I'll link up to that review as well. That showed up after Christmas, so early in 2017. I'm going to talk about this thing right from bucket to backhoe, and if there's anything that I have not addressed in this review, please just drop a comment. I'll do a follow-up video or answer you in the comments. So let's get at it. The bucket on this tractor, in my opinion, it's the perfect size bucket for this machine. If you put any bigger of a bucket on this thing, I'm not quite sure how you would fill it. Unless you're moving feathers, you don't need a bigger bucket. For me, I try to push into a load of gravel or a load of topsoil, and I run out of traction on this machine well before I run out of capacity in that bucket. There are people that make like spill guards for these sort of things. They're really nice. They just take away from what the tractor can actually lift. You know, you start bolting accessories onto this thing, you're taking away from how much you can lift with this machine. So for me, the bucket's perfectly fine the way it is. If I was gonna do anything to it, I may put a cutting edge on the front, but honestly, I haven't even found that that's worth it. I'm pretty hard on this machine, so if something's gonna break, probably would have happened by now. Let's see, it's got one of these here. That's a level indicator. That works pretty good. From the driver's position, you can see whether or not your bucket is level when you're scooping into something. And as soon as you move the tractor forward, you'll know if you're level or not, because if you're If you're down at all on the front, well, the bucket's going to take off into the ground and you will probably start spinning your wheels. On this machine, I have the quick attach bracket, which I think is the BX25D. I'm not really able to see the model number in that position. If it's anything different, I'll put it up on the screen. It's pretty good. I'm going to lift up the bucket right now and start the machine, so stand by. Basically, the factory bucket comes off of the loader arms, and this piece here gets installed permanently to the loader using the pin-on locations of the bucket. And then you have quick attach locations with pins that go in. So you would remove that safety pin here, you pull this pin out, do the same on the other side, and you just drop the bucket and pick up whatever else you want, whatever accessories you have. I have a kick that back in. I have a set of forks for this machine, and I have a loader mounted plow that is kind of a custom setup, and I'll link to that here as well if you want to check it out. So this is pretty good. I find after 500 hours it's getting a little bit sloppy. That most of that slop is in the hydraulic cylinder and is not unusual, but if you don't have perfectly level ground to hook this thing up, it can be a bit of a pain. You end up having to move your attachment around a bit by hand, manipulate it a little bit in order to get everything to line up perfectly before you can slide those pins in. But it is what it is. Nothing's perfect. I'm not perfect. This tractor's not perfect. You just have to try to find a piece of equipment that is gonna be the best for you. Lifting capacity of this thing. I feel like it lifts around 700 pounds. Again, if it's any different, you're gonna see me put the technical specifications up on the screen. Let's see, does it lift enough? No, I don't think it lifts enough, but what tractor does lift enough? As soon as you find a piece of machinery that's perfect for you, you end up pushing it to its limits, and then you need something bigger. For me, there's probably no equipment that's going to lift enough. Like I said, I push this machine right to the end of its capacity. Lots of times you get into something that you think it should be able to lift, and you pull down on that loader arm there, the lift lever, and it just doesn't do anything. You just hear the pump relieving the oil back to tank. So I don't know. Is it the perfect lifting capacity for this tractor? You're gonna have to decide that. Definitely. It probably lifts the perfect amount for a tractor this size, because if you lift anything bigger, then you're gonna be able to get that load up into the air and move your center of gravity up, and it probably wouldn't be safe. So I don't know, maybe it is the perfect lifting capacity. The curl and the dumping function on the bucket, I find, is perfectly adequate. I've never not been able to tip that bucket up, really. So it's got lots in terms of that. What's next here? This bracket under here is what you would tip down if you were going to remove this loader from the tractor and store it somewhere if you didn't want to have it on there. I'm not going to do that for you right now, but I'm sure there's lots of videos out there about how to remove and install the loader, an LA240, from the front of a Kubota BX25D. This guy here, this bracket, it's pretty robust. It's a good bracket. If you need to remove this shroud at all from the tractor to do any kind of maintenance on this machine, you do have to undo these bolts, which is kind of a pain in the butt. I think that maybe has been addressed in the next generation of tractors, the BX23. I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me, because I don't have one. I have a BX25D. Let's see, headlights, kind of useless, because as soon as you lift the bucket up in the air, all you're doing is lighting up the back of your bucket. If Kubota was going to do anything better about illumination, I would say get some factory installed LED floodlights up on that ROPS bar. Who needs lights there? when you have a loader on. It's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. What's next? The hydraulic quick attach couplers to actually install and remove this thing. Well, they're easy to come off. You just pull back on those collars and they pop right off. But to try to put them back on, very difficult, especially after the seasons change. If you disconnect those lines and you are essentially trapping a volume of fluid inside those hydraulic lines, and then you have any kind of temperature fluctuations, especially in the positive direction, if it gets warm, the fluid in those things changes volume. You have expansion and contraction of the hydraulic fluid in those hoses, and that makes it extremely difficult to do those back up. I shouldn't say it makes it extremely difficult. I'll say it can make it extremely difficult to do those up. If I take this loader off of the tractor, it's usually for an extended period of time. So I tend to have that problem when I put it back on. Again, I think maybe there is a different way to attach the hydraulics onto the tractor in the next version of this tractor, in the BX23. Don't know for sure, don't have one. Actually taking this thing on and off, super simple. I really like that, especially if you remove it and reinstall it in the same season. And for me, this thing does not get removed and put indoors. It gets removed and it gets put in the gravel somewhere outside. The only time I've ever had a problem putting that back on is if the seasons change and we now have a foot of snow on the ground, which gets compacted and turns into 4 inches of ice. Now the tractor is no longer at the same elevation as the loader, so the way things line up changes a little bit when you're putting it back on, and that can be problematic. I think there might be a video of that somewhere, and I'll link to it, but I'm not going to promise that I'm going to link to it because it's kind of a scene that's in the middle of a different video, and off the top of my head I can't remember which video that is right now. Moving back to the engine, power. Lots of power for this tractor. It doesn't really need any more power, because if you put any more horsepower or torque under the hood, your wheels are just going to break loose. This tractor is going to run out of traction way before it runs out of horsepower, I promise you. I'm always spinning with this thing. This winter I may install some chains onto this tractor, just because people have recommended that to me, especially for clearing snow. I'm not going to put chains on the front because people have said that can be hard on the four-wheel drive. So the engine maintenance is pretty easy. I mean, it's all basic stuff for the most part, unless you're at some kind of a crazy maintenance interval where you have to go in and get the tappet clearances adjusted on the engine or something. It's just basic stuff. Oil and filter. There's the filter right there. You can see it. The white thing in there, it's a Kubota filter. There's a filter there. There's 2 inline fuel filters, diesel filters, which everybody complains about. I don't find them that big a deal. You just crawl under there and get them out. Trust me, changing fuel filters is not going to be the most frustrating thing you do. If you have a tractor like this, you probably are outdoors all the time tackling jobs. I think you can handle changing 2 inline fuel filters. There's also spin-on style hydraulic filters underneath. Maybe I'll do a maintenance video one of these days. So what's next? The loader controls, very intuitive. Hydrostatic controls differ from John Deere a little bit. I think they call this a treadle pedal. Your forward is forward, your reverse is reverse. The only thing I don't like about that reverse pedal is that in the wintertime, I get all sorts of ice and snow packed underneath the back of it, and as the days and the weeks go on and on and on, I have my reverse is slower and slower and slower. So I got to get in there with something to pick out the ice or the compacted snow, or park this thing in the heated garage for a while and let it thaw out. I don't keep it in the heated garage because I don't want to spoil it. It belongs outside with a block heater. Let's see. The brake, I don't use it that much, to be honest. But it does work well. I have had to use it. It feels like it has a ton of braking capacity. What else? PTO. It's got a forward PTO underneath. and a regular PTO, or what I would call a regular PTO at the back of the tractor by the 3-point hitch. I don't have any implements currently in use that use the PTO at the back of the tractor, but my snowblower uses the PTO at the front, and it engages smoothly and quietly, and I've never had any problems. Maybe I should have touched on the 4-wheel drive while I was up here too. The 4-wheel drive is great. The only maintenance I've done to it is to change the oil. The last interval required that to happen, so I did that, and it was pretty straightforward. Just drain plugs and pull that cap and fill it back up. Pretty straightforward. These controls under here, I'm gonna be honest guys, I do not have a mid-mount mower on this. I have had no reason to touch any of this stuff except to lock up the rear wheels when I get stuck with this pedal here, which works really good. Let's see, the seat is incredibly comfortable. I think this seat was an upgrade to the model of BX that came before this. What else? The floor mat. The floor mat was, when I bought it, secured with all sorts of those push-in pins in all these holes. I took them all out and I threw them in the garbage because I find that this thing just gets packed with junk underneath and it's a hassle. I don't want it to rust, so I want to be able to get under there quickly and easily and pressure wash that thing out every once in a while. It's a great mat. I installed this traction tape here on this side. It looks like I need to replace it because it's wearing off. I knew as soon as I looked at this machine, I said, this paint is just going to get worn off immediately. There's no reason why Kubota could not have made that mat come over the side and fold down. Would have been a huge upgrade. Stop these things from rusting. Cup holder, it's awesome. Fits a coffee cup or a tall boy. What else? These hazard lights here, they're pretty good, but I ripped one off like in the first week. So I purchased a set of those hazard light guards from Specialty Repairs from Paul Short in Newfoundland, Canada. You should check him out on YouTube if you haven't. It's a great channel, lots and lots of BX content, really good. Let's see, the back end of these tractors, I guess if you're buying a BX, you're probably buying it for that backhoe, so arguably this could be the business end of the tractor. This thing is really great. It's a good homeowner, small acreage kind of an implement. Honestly, my favorite part about this thing is that when I get stuck on the property, I can use those stabilizers to lift the back of the tractor up off the ground and slide boards underneath the back wheels. 95% of the time, that's what I'm using this for, which is a little bit ridiculous. And people are probably saying, well, if you're getting stuck that much, then take the backhoe off. You don't need that much weight. Well, sure, that's great, but then you try to pick anything up with the forks or the bucket at the front, and the back wheels come off the ground. This tractor is really designed to have this weight on the back. For me, it's got to stay. The only thing I don't like about this arrangement is that I wish it had a proper trailer hitch that you could use while the backhoe was still installed. And I am working on something. I'm not going to talk too much about it because I don't want to stir up any controversy until it's actually installed. I don't want you guys to blow up on me until you see it working. What's next? Rear remotes. It's too bad that Kubota didn't sell a kit specifically for the BX TLB series. I mean, they have rear remote kits and third function valve kits and stuff for these tractors that you can buy, but I don't think there really is anything like this that gives you rear remotes on these tractors, and I don't know why. I mean, the hydraulic circuit is right there for the backhoe. Just make a kit that bolts on with quick couplers and just is added into the circuit somehow. It would be an easy way for you guys to make like $1,000 or $1,500. People would buy it. I don't know why they don't do it. I mean, there has to be a reason why they don't want people to have that capability. There has to be a lawyer or some kind of an academic figuring that, oh, they're going to do things with the tractor and you're going to get sued. You don't want them to have that kind of capability with that machine. It's not what it's for. I don't know. But anyway, My only gripe about the backhoe would probably be the same as my complaint with any kind of backhoe would be, and that is you only have a very small area to move your material. When I've dug a lot of trenches with this, I have, but I find I'm moving the tractor every 5 minutes. It's enough to drive a man crazy. So I've actually, in like 2 weeks, I have a brand new 2021 Kubota KX040 mini excavator coming to the property, and that thing's going to be a game changer because I can throw the dirt 360 degrees. It's got the 6-way blade on it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So maybe you guys will get a review on that machine after I put 500 hours on it too, because as far as I'm concerned, if you have any less hours than that on a machine, you're the ability for your review to hold water is diminished. You shouldn't be putting a review up if you have 20 hours on a machine, is what I'm getting at. That's less of a review and more of an initial impression, which is fine if that's what you're looking for. What else? What have I missed? It's a pretty great machine. Fuel consumption, seriously, if you need to talk about fuel consumption on this machine, then just don't even bother buying a tractor. Just get a plastic one that you can push around on the carpet with your kids. This thing doesn't use hardly any fuel. I probably haven't filled it 10 or 15 times since I've owned it. It's just sips fuel. It's really great on fuel. Taking the backhoe on and off, really easy. Just be aware that the hydraulics will leak down a little bit, so don't put anything around it or under it that you don't want to get bumped into or anything like that, because over time it will settle down. Yeah, the backhoe has got lots of power for what it is, for what the tractor can produce for horsepower. It's perfectly adequate. I was very happy with it, very happy with the tractor as a whole, for doing what I needed it to do. I mean, I'm at the point on my property now where I'm ready for the next piece of equipment. I'm ready for the next thing to be able to just push these jobs a little harder and a little further. And the BX will still be seen in my videos for sure. I mean, it's a great machine. I have a hydraulic dump trailer that I can pull behind it now. I'll link to that video of me buying that trailer and testing it and that kind of stuff. The Kubota BX is awesome. I love it. If you're looking for a machine like this, you should definitely get one. If I stand back and look at the whole machine and I could change one thing about it, I would put a cab on that machine. But really, that machine, that Kubota BX with a cab, after you add up those prices, you're getting really close to the price of a machine that's the next size up. I mean, yeah, you won't have the backhoe and that kind of stuff, but it's definitely a consideration that needs to be talked about. Man, I hate clearing snow with this tractor. It is damn cold. I've lost like 50 pounds in the last year, just making some changes in my life, and I telling you, this winter that went past, my hands get cold. I just do not have the appetite for being outside sitting on this machine in any kind of wind at all. It's terrible. So if you get cold and you're going to be using this thing to clear snow, I don't know if I would get this machine. If I could go back, I would probably buy one with a cab, to be honest. But maybe I couldn't afford it at the time. So, like I say, these are all just things you need to think about. There's the machine that's perfect for me is not going to be the machine that's perfect for you. It's just not. Everybody has different things they want to do with them. What's important for some people is not important for other people. You're just going to have to make the decision yourself. So I don't really know what else I could talk about on this thing. I mean, I'm sure there's definitely going to be some things that I forgot. But like I said at the start, don't worry about asking questions. I'll do another video if I have to. I'll answer in the comments. Don't worry about it. Just drop a comment and we'll go from there. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to get out my chainsaw and get ready to deal with that right there. I don't have to dig that out with the backhoe, but I'm going to, just so that you guys can see me running the backhoe and see what it's like. It's probably not the first time you've seen a backhoe working on YouTube. If you're looking for one of these, you've probably watched 100 of these videos. But all right, we'll switch into a little bit of fast forward and get set up. Well, that was interesting. My drone just disappeared. It was gone, so I had to go find it. The battery was low and it was heading back towards its landing point, but it didn't last very long. So let's have a look at this. It's not hard to tell that a small anthill can turn into a disgusting mess when you live on a property that has a water table that's pretty high. So I think we got that broken out pretty good. I'm gonna go and get a strap, and we'll see if we can lift that out with a bucket, and that'll be a good test for the BX. You guys will be able to see if that will be able to lift it or not. But see, what's gonna happen is it's gonna take me a couple of attempts to get this thing out of here, and very quickly the BX is gonna destroy whatever root structure that I have in that location. It's gonna turn into a sloppy mess, and the tractor will probably get stuck before I'm able to get that out of there. At least that's what I'm predicting. But we'll pause here and I'll go grab a strap. All right, so I got my straps and I put the strap on the tree, and look what happened, just moving around. You know, I wish I'd have got this on film, but I didn't. I almost got stuck. You know, I forget that the whole reason why I'm putting this road in is because this land has like half an inch of root structure, and then it's just goose crap. It's awful. You just get stuck everywhere all the time. I didn't even have anything on the tractor. As a matter of fact, I took the bucket off the tractor to reduce the amount of weight already on the loader and increase the lifting capacity of the tractor to pull that stump out. Crazy. Just stuck right away. So you're wondering why I'm putting a road in. That's why. I need gravel and geotextile. So I got this thing snotted off down there with a strap and a nice shackle, and another smaller shackle hooked into that quick attach bracket at the top. So we'll set this up somewhere where you can watch, and we'll see what this can do. Well, I don't know how much of that you were able to see, but it's gone. It's amazing how the resistance of a few existing roots can really make a big difference in terms of being able to move a tree stump. You know, I didn't try at all to move that thing until I came out and had a look, and I cut maybe, you know, there's one there, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, and then I was able to back out of there without spinning. But it's only because I had a piece of ground there that with good root structure, nice and dry. As soon as you peel that up, you're done. Forget about it. So let's go have a look. I don't know if you were able to see what I did with the backhoe there, but one of the things I learned early on with the BX is because the stability is kind of suspect. Lots of people put spacers on those back tires, but if you take that backhoe and put it straight out, You can lower the center of gravity of the whole tractor. If the tractor starts to lean one way, stop what you're doing. You can take that backhoe and you can point it in the opposite direction to give yourself some more stability. I've done that before. I did it today, and I was able to get that tree stump moved out of the way. It can stay here for now. I'll put it somewhere more permanent once I have my mini excavator on the property, because look at mini excavator compared to a BX for a job like that. There's no comparison. This is not the right job for a BX when you have a KX available. So that's pretty much going to be it today. It wasn't exactly just a Kubota BX review, but I did talk about it. I showed you a little bit of what it's capable of, and look at, there's a million jobs that I've done on this property with that tractor, and in those situations the BX was exactly the right tool. Phenomenal machine. This is just one of those jobs it sucks because the tractor's got lots of horsepower, but you're driving around on snot. It's no good. So I hope you enjoyed it. You can follow me on Instagram if you'd like, at killingitcountry, and like, share, and subscribe. It's summertime. There's going to be lots of great content, an awesome garden. Maybe I'll do a flyover of my garden right now, and a little bit of aerial photography to end off this video. Maybe throw in a little bit of a country ditty. What do you think? So take care, guys. Get outside, have some fun. Thanks for watching.